Für die Raumstation. 24 hours a day. Yeah. Das Interview. Today, Danijela Jovic from Belgrade in Serbia. Hi Danijela. You are a painter and musician coming from Belgrade in Serbia. You studied in Belgrade and finished a 2016 Academy of Fine Arts. You work and live in Belgrade since many years, and you exhibited in many cities of the world, including Paris, Berlin, New York, Phoenix, Tokyo, Seoul, Belgrade, Prague, Sofia, Marbella, Ljubljana. My first question for you. You were born and grew up in a very excited city and in a very excited time. How and when did you find music? And how and when did you find art as expression? Was a musician and painter in your family before?
Hello, Melanie.
Hello.
And all who are listening to this. Yes, well, I was born in a small town in the south of Serbia by name Vranje. In fact, Greece border is more near to the town than Belgrade is the capital of Serbia. My town is a bit special. People in Vranje have special kind of folk music, special dialect and special kind of dance in all Serbia. And mainly, all are crazy for music. Yes. Somehow, music is in our blood. Must be. I can't explain it differently. So, the first artistic expression in my life was music. I remember well my grandmother and my mother, after lunch, often started to sing and dance. I still have that picture in my mind. It was nice to listen and watch. But no artist of any kind in my family, as far as I know. Must be that I'm a black sheep in my family. Yes. However, my own first art act was painting. To be honest, I don't remember how I started, but I remember that my first big work in primary school was me playing guitar while sitting on the wall, and behind me I painted some mountains from one of Cézanne's paintings. And that was so good that I hid it under the bed.
Had you been influenced by something you admired these days when you started your art in painting and music?
Well, yes, apparently I have been in music, thanks to my older sister records and some older friends. I have been well guided to find my favorite groups like it is Jethro Tull, yes, Doors, Queen, Supertramp, Pink Floyd, then ELP, Camel, and finally Genesis as my favorite group. On the other hand, once, if I remember well, I was in secondary school. My father brought me a record that he got as a gift. It was Scheherazade by Korsakov, Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. The symphonic piece totally blew up my mind. I was in love immediately in Scheherazade. It was pure life, full of ups and downs. In some parts noisy, but then so gentle solo violin, so pretty. Even today, I love that piece so much.
Yes, I like it too, very much.
Well, regarding painting, I was impressed by Cézanne on the first place. Gauguin, Van Gogh from the start. Mainly post-impressionists. Realistic paintings were never favorite work to me. Even all masterpieces, no. If I have to be more precise, abstract expressionism is more close to me as an expression. But to be honest, in music as in painting, I don't like to be put in some genre or style. I like fusion and mix of styles and genre in every way of artistic expression, music or visual art. To work in one genre is not so interesting, I think. I think we need to play, because art is a big playground. No need to think in genre or style borders.
It's good if you can be free in everything you do. That's what I think, and maybe that meets a little bit. What is your soul speaking of? As concerns your art, what are your favorite colors and why? Did that change compared to earlier periods? And do one find these colors as well in your music? Is there any song you would maybe add when you think of your colors? And can you introduce this to us, that we can play it and hear it after?
Is it possible? You are asking painter for the favorite color. Well, I have a favorite color in life, and that is black. And it was always like that. Black color consists of all colors, and I feel sometimes that are like 100 people inside me. So it is black. But on the other hand, I have no favorite color when I work on painting. Considering your second part of this question, no, I don't translate colors to notes. It is a bit difficult process, in fact. But I try to connect them with the same emotions while working on music and on painting. That could be the connection. There is a song I try to make visible in my painting works, and that is a kind of classical piece. I call it Dance of the Nine Peahens.
Where and what about was your first exhibition from painting? Was this a solo show? If not, when and where was your first solo show?
The first exhibition was a group show in Belgrade. My first teacher for painting was Sergej Jovanovic, and he called me to take part in that group show. He was teaching me to draw and paint before the first university. He was a very famous guy. Even from abroad, people were coming to his studio to learn how to draw and paint. So I did too. And yes, the first solo show was also in Belgrade. I think it was in 1999. It was a pretty big collection of artworks, so different in style and technique. I don't do exhibitions like that today. Usually people do exhibitions like that as the last show, not for the first show. But that was me.
Did you always knew that your call is to deal with art and music?
I must say that I'm the kind of person that my eyes, my hands and ears are working, thinking and remembering instead of my brain.
Okay.
Yes, that is so. Well, all things in my life happened by accident. I never thought or knew that art is the best call for me. I even finished at first University of Textile Technology, like my father did, which is not so easy to finish. Later on, I tried to pass the exam for academy for fun, and even if I succeed to pass the exam, I was not sure that I will attend it. Then I started the graphic design on academy, and then from design went to painting department. A long way. But destiny, I think. Music. Music was never an option to deal with in my mind, but it comes by accident again. I was interested in animation, so I went to some schooling for a year to learn something about video production. But there was the important part of the video, and that is the sound. And instead to learn animation, I become more and more involved working with the sound. I got some loops as a present from my teacher, and I tried to make something that has a sense. That night, when I succeeded to make a short song, I was so excited. My ears and my eyes were so big that I could not sleep at all. That was love at first sight. I was totally lost in space that night. It was almost 10 years ago. But to be honest, I was always a bit lost in space, as far as I remember. Yes, well, there is one fun story if you like to hear.
Of course.
My sister was living at that time in Moscow with her husband, and she asked me to go to some funeral to express condolences in their name. The funeral was in Belgrade. Okay, I said yes, of course. I put the best dress on me. I bought some beautiful flowers, and I went to the funeral. When my turn comes to say something, I gave my hand, and my first word was congratulations. Oh, that was so terrible. I blushed in a moment. I was so red, and pressure in my head was so big that I can't describe you. I ran off the place in a second. Terrible feeling. But that's me.
Yes, as we love you all, Danijela. I see you sign your paintings as Danijela, but your music is under the name Sergei 77. How came this name, and what was the reason for you to take it? Can you introduce us one of your songs on the beginning of your work as Sergei 77, please?
Oh, yes. Well, as I said before, my first teacher for painting was Sergei Ivanovic. He died at the age of 77. He died of a tumor on the brain. His last exhibition that he opened was my first solo exhibition in Belgrade. So therefore, I became Sergei 77. Why I took this name for music? Well, not because it sounds so good. To tell you the truth, on the beginning, I was afraid what result I can achieve on the field of music. So, I thought better to take some other name, so if it is bad, nobody will know that it is me. Simple as that. Song. This time I would like to play a song by name Tangled Dream. It's instrumental from 2011. Later on I wrote lyrics for that song, and that was my first collaboration with a singer from Bulgaria.
Very nice music, Danijela. I admire the song. Did you ever meet famous bands or painters you loved in person? Which ones in case, where and when? And what is your favorite artist in music and which one in art nowadays?
Well, I don't have a favorite artist in music or painter or other artist. I must disappoint you.
Okay.
I also never met some famous one, but the closest situation was in Rome a few years ago at the concert of Jethro Tull. If I have to, I can say that Jan Anderson is my favorite musician figure. I think that you can learn from every artist something, at least how not to do something.
Okay, that's true. Tell me, Danijela, is there any of your songs you would like to dedicate to Ian Anderson?
Well, thank you for this opportunity. There is one of my songs that I would like to dedicate to Jan Anderson, if possible. It is Mocha with a lot of flute. Of course, it is not like he is playing, but it is flute.
Something to tell you, listen. Yeah. Oh, please tell me, do you speak the sea language, baby? Do you speak the sea language? Do you speak the sea language? I do not. The words get stuck in the sink, in a maelstrom of reflection. The water slowly swallows me down, and the night is burning. Water and fire. Shadows of lies on the sand divide the sunrise and the sunset of the days. And the waves whisper land. Got something to tell you, listen. Yeah. sea language. I cannot. Shadows of lies on the sand divide the sunrise and the sunset of the days, and the waves whisperly land. Oh, please tell me, do you speak the sea language, baby? Do you speak the sea language?
Nice song again, Danijela. I'm a big fan of your music. Tell us, you do very cool mixes of classical instruments and use in rock and jazz, as we learned you like to do fusion and crossover. What is your favorite instrument and why? I know what you will say.
Again, I don't have a favorite instrument.
I knew you needed to say
how
that.
can I? When so many beautiful instruments are around. I like violin, oboe, clarinet, cello, piano, viola, guitar, Japanese taiko drums, any kind of hand drums, saxophone, name it. But no need to name it all. Simply, I don't have a favorite instrument.
We learned that, I think, in this interview already, that you like a lot of things, which is fine. Tell us, do you have at least a favorite song of your own? And if so, can you introduce this to us, please?
Well, I think I already did. It is instrumental by the name Mocha. That is my favorite of my own. It is very hard to choose if you have many songs, but somehow I love instrumentals. There is no nice voice to make it better. It is as it is. However, I would like to introduce you another instrumental by the name Taste of Courage, progressive rock instrumental.
You started as well to work with some singers. How did you find them and who was doing music with you? Can you introduce us some of your music partners, please?
Yes, well, all my music partners I found on the internet. It is internet domination, as you know, and virtual life becomes important as real life. My first collaboration was the guy from Bulgaria, it's Shemzi. I found him, or he found me, I don't remember anymore, it was 9 years ago. So we found each other on the internet site where you can post your music, it's Looperman. We did few songs together, he is a cool singer and very good musician. After that, I think was a girl from the USA by name Patricia Edwards. Very cool girl and great singer. We did few songs also. And after that, also, I think another guy from the USA and another. Then you from Germany, John from Greece, Sergey from Ukraine, and so on. In real life, I met only you. So, which one to introduce you? Maybe John from Greece. He is a writer of science fiction books and a musician as well. I would like to play our song Carpe Diem. On Latin, it means catch the day. It's his lyrics, melody and singing, the rest was my part.
The sun is ours, this earth is pure, the air we breathe is fresh and cool.
great song. As we know, Danijela, you live with your father and family in a big house and have a strong relation to your family. What does family mean for you? And did you ever wrote a song for your dad or mom or sister? And can we hear that maybe?
What does family mean to me? Well, I love my family, of course. But to be honest, once I made portrait of my mother, but that work is lost. I also wrote lyrics dedicated to my mother. And yes, I remember now, lyrics dedicated to my sister. But that lyrics are lost too. So, I made some brief instrumental on the very beginning of my musical journey and dedicate that to my sister. I called her and gave her to listen. I was so proud. She told me, briefly as a comment, "Ha, it's all the same." So, never again I dedicate some song to anybody else except when my mother died. That was the exception. If you ask me to give you to listen that short instrumental dedicated to my sister, I would say it's lost, sorry. However, I would like to introduce you to a song with Emily Coy as a singer, musician from the USA. I was briefly in contact with her, and this is my choice of our collaboration. Name of the song is The Change.
It's long.
so much you bring, Emily, because I'm a real fan of this voice. And as we learned before, you write as well lyrics from time to time. What is maybe behind this? Do you express some stories did happen, or is it more fantasy or speaking of feelings?
I am afraid it's pure fiction. My imagination is pretty big. Well, since I work with you, I write mainly sad love songs because melancholy stuff is your specialty. Or I talk to God, as you know. Not that I'm so much religious, I am not, but I believe in some force that we are all part of. Whatever we call that force. Could be God as well.
Yes, our destiny. As you said, coming more to the sad or emotional side, what would you say is your most emotional song?
Oh, that is a hard question. I always have my biggest emotions at the moment I work. I can't give you other answer. The most emotional lyrics are maybe lyrics in Song to the Only One, where I speak to God. But music is maybe not. The most emotional instrumental I did is dedicated to my mother when she died, but unfortunately not the best one. There is one song I love that I was very happy the moment I made instrumental, so it's a happy song with a nice flute that you don't like. You sing on that instrumental, it's your lyrics and melody, and in the first version it was even more flute than it is in the final version. I remember you said, don't give me instrumentals like this anymore. No, we would not hear this time that song, but I would like to introduce you the song Experimental Drive. I was in kind of special night mood when I finished it. It's a happy song too, I think.
one of your friends who never had been to Belgrade would come to see you, what would you show first of Belgrade, art or music scene? If you would need to express the today's Belgrade feeling, which song of yours would be your choice and why?
Well, I'm a painter in the first place, and that is a very long job. First, I will show to that friend from abroad some exhibition and some artworks. Then I will find some concert, if I'm lucky, but to be sure better classical music than some other. I don't like to take risks. If I want to speak about Belgrade with a song, I would like to choose some with Oriental elements. Belgrade is in the heart of Balkan, which is a crossroad from East to West Europe. My country was 200 years under the Turkey rulers, so we have in music, folk dresses and dialects many Turkish elements. So, my next choice will be the song named Weird Mood.
again. So I think this is the longest interview I ever did, which I love, and it's very nice. I would not like to stop, but I think we must. So I ask you a final question. I'm always interested which of your songs you would like to give to the people as a goodbye song for today's interview. Is there any message you feel is important, and can you introduce this song that we can play it and accompany the people home?
There is a song with a beautiful message, very optimistic, which I like very much. One very dear person to me wrote the lyrics and sang it. That person always amazed me with her musical solutions every single time I heard her singing. Guess who is it? The name of the song is Don't Be Afraid.
So you speak of me, don't you?
Yes, of course I'm speaking about you. On the end, regards to all who was listening to this interview, and don't be afraid, even you are lost for a moment, day or week, or even more. I was lost in space since the day I was born, but somehow I found my place and satisfaction. So, never give up.
Thank you so much, Danijela, for these words, and thank you for being here. Before we play the song, I would like to say goodbye to you and to our listeners. Until next time, here is Don't Be Afraid.
Another morning over rainy desert. You feel cold and depressed, as if you're walking alone in the darkness of the city. I'd like to get up or get dressed. Don't be afraid, one step ahead might be the light. Don't be afraid. Do you know what kind of devil is riding you to turn your head into the dark? It's not the way to show respect to the people, 'cause there is someone you're gonna love. Don't be afraid. You should stand upright from your shoes to the toes. Don't be afraid. Longing to be free means that you didn't shut still. Don't be afraid. One step ahead might be the light. misery.
My name is Melanie Cully.
Radio Raumstation.
24 hours a day. Yeah.